Juna pod kivanok, a nevem Joanna, lengelor, sagbor, sarmazon. I came here not only to learn this first phrase in Hungarian, I came here to talk to you about the tool that you're using on an everyday basis, but I will need some of your cooperation, please. So can you please sit down here? I see many free spaces because we will be doing tests today, and we will be doing some experiments. So there are free places here. If you can come and sit here, you're welcome to join us sitting here. Excellent, great. So a little introduction of myself. As my colleague said before, I am a psychologist. I have master degree in psychology. 10 years ago, I started working in IT, and I was working for quality assurance for 10 years. Now I moved into implementation, and now I'm the leader of the team that is providing configured application. So actually, I had some experience with people, and I like it. I'm here because I like people. I do all my researches because I like people. And I'm always interested how people work and what people can do to perform better. So the most favorite tool that we are all using, and the tool that we should take care of, we should do updates, and we should make sure it's in a good condition, is our brain. And yes, we heard all very interesting and very truth lectures about how machines will work for us, how artificial intelligence will take over some of aspects of our work. But actually, our brains are something that will have the most will be the most powerful and are the most powerful tools for us. And there is a reason for us to take care of them. So actually, what is the average journey for our development as our tool, as our memory, as our intelligence? We finish study, right? We finish university, we get degree, and then maybe sometimes, from time to time, we learn for certificates. And what I want to encourage you is to take care about the quality of your brain. Take care of how to increase, how to improve your intelligence. I don't know if you recognize this picture. I used it 20 years ago when I was doing my master's degree in psychology. I would carry this suitcase, green suitcase, to the preschool, and I would do the tests for preschoolers. And this would measure their intelligence. I did all the quizzes, and I asked them questions, and they would answer, and this would measure their intelligence. But actually, right now, when we are adults, when we already have our degrees, we can still work on improving our intelligence. So I would just now want you to touch and feel the feeling of how our mind and how our brain is working. So we will go step by step. So learning process is the part of our intelligence. It's like learning, problem solving, and logic are the three main components that I chose for us today to touch and feel and equip you with some knowledge. Of course, we don't have so much time in 20 minutes, but equip you with some knowledge, or at least with the places where to look for some more knowledge, how to improve our own non-artificial intelligence. Okay, so learning. Let's start with learning. Learning is a process that contains of several steps. First step is we need to notice things, because we are surrounded by stimulus everywhere. We can hear the sounds over there, we can see the lights, except of those slides, we already see people moving, we hear things. So what we do to select only those stimulus that are important for us to stay in our mind. And how do we work as testers that we do not omit the ones that are important? I want you first to look at the pictures. Okay. What did you see? If you didn't see it before, because it was around on the internet at some point, but if you saw it for the first time, you probably saw beautiful women smiling. But actually, those women, this is what you saw. why? Why those beautiful smiling women actually are not really there, they are photoshopped. And somebody in 1980, a psychologist actually did this photoshopping for Margaret Thatcher, and it's called Margaret Thatcher's effect, that our brain is so focused on looking at the smiling face. Smiling face is a trigger. Smiling face is something that puts us into assumptions. When we see some smiling face, we are blind to anything else. We just see this thing, and we fall into assumption, this lady is beautiful, she's smiling. No matter of the fact that this was something like when they are not upside down, it's obvious that this is some kind of Photoshop. Now I need to put this because I want to show you one more thing. I want you all to stand up, please. Some people are standing up already. First thing, do we know the English names for our fingers? I'll just quickly repeat it. This is pinky, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, and thumb, okay? We will have to name them for us. Okay, so I want to ask you to put your hands in front of you, palms down, okay? Now cross them. Okay, now lace them. Okay, and turn them like this. Can you, did all of you do it? I see. Okay. Excellent, great job. Put your foot on the table and try it with us. You will learn something about your memory and about the way you are noticing things. Great. Okay, now, I want you to look at your hands, and I want you to lift your left ring finger. Look at your hands carefully, and lift it. Okay, now I want you to lift your right pinky. Excellent. And now I want you to lift your left index finger. Now I want you to stay with your hands like this and close your eyes. Now lift your index finger of the right hand. Lift the pinky of your left hand. Okay, and now lift the thumb of your right hand. Okay, thank you very much. You can sit down. And did you feel the difference between the one that you did with your eyes closed and the one that you did with your eyes open? There were too many stimulus when you had your eyes open, and your brain got confused. Your brain has his own economy, and this economy tells him, reduce everything that is unnecessary. Concentrate only what's important, then you will do it fast. But we're testers. We're not here to do things fast. We are here to notice things, right? And if we are aware of this economy, if we are aware of the fact that our brain will always fall into this economy bias, we need to focus and concentrate and do all the effort so that we can actually overcome this one. Okay, we have some more exercises. Now we will be talking about storing information. So about noticing, you know that to notice things, we need to concentrate, right? Exploratory tests are all about overcoming this brain economy. It's about noticing things that usually normal people wouldn't notice. Okay? Sorry. I want you to remember those letters. I give you 5 seconds. Okay. Now I want you to get into pairs, and I want a person that is closer to this wall tell the other person the letters that they remember. Okay, can you go quickly? Okay, who remembered more than 5 letters? Who remembered more than 5 letters? Okay, who remembered more than 3 letters? Okay, very good. Okay, average person would remember about 9 elements in 5 seconds, but you will probably forget them by the evening. This is our short-term memory. Our short-term memory is capable of remembering about 9 elements. Okay, there were 9 characters here, and you remembered some of this. Okay, let's go. Now, the person from this side will be telling what we'll remember. I give you 5 seconds to look at the characters. All right, can you tell the other person what you remembered? Okay, who remembered more than 5 elements? Raise your hand. Okay, some of you. Who remembered more than 3? Great, okay. Now, we actually now had 55 characters. Why did we remember much more? Because I told you elements were the words, but actually when we count the characters, when we group our knowledge, our brain puts them on the right shelves. And when they're on the right shelves, they are actually easier to recall. So actually, for the short-term memory to get into long-term memory, the most important thing is the right grouping. Another thing is connecting it with emotions. That's why I chose the words like quality assurance. We all have passion for quality assurance, right? That's why I guess, who remembered quality assurance? Look at you. Yeah, we're here with passion. Okay, read more about this Yanja Wintersoul. She's an amazing woman, and she tells a lot about how she remembers numbers, how she remembers faces, names. She's the memory champion, and she can remember 212 names together with faces after only 15 minutes of exposure. And imagine that after yesterday's party, 1 hour of the party, you remember everyone in this room and in the other room, like all conference participants. That's how her memory works. And she talks a lot about her memory. You can even watch some movies with her. So I encourage you highly to look at her, what she says about how good we can train our memory. All right, now let's see what we can reprocess. There will be another exercise, and I will want all of you to stand up. People who are already standing up, raise your hands, okay, when it's time. I want you to look at this picture very carefully, and I want you to remember as many elements as possible. I'll give you about 3 minutes to look at the picture. I'm sorry, I meant half a minute. We don't have 3 minutes. Okay, now I will be giving you instructions about when to stand up. Actually, I don't want you to stand up if the answer is yes or no. I want you to stand up if you're sure you know the answer, okay? Now, stand up if you're sure this element was present on a board. You guys raise your hand if you're sure this element was on a board. Going through the files, two hands raised. Stand up, no, stand up. Okay, okay, great, great. Okay, next time. Stand up if you're sure this element was present on a board. Okay, all right, great. Okay, last time I had my timer to see how many seconds we need to remember. Okay, sit down. Put your hands down. Stand up if you're sure this element was present on a board. Great, okay. Some hands raised, all right. Stand up if you're sure this element was present on a board. Some women like sunflowers more and they remember them better, okay. Great job. Okay, next. Stand up if you're sure this element was present on a board. Yeah, this was clear, and yeah, that's right. Okay, stand up if you're sure this element was not present on the board. If you're sure it was not present on the board, stand up. Okay, all right. All right. Any hands raised? It was not present on the board. Okay, stand up if you're sure this element was not present on the board. Okay. All right. Okay, this was very short, and this was very, like, it was only for you to touch and feel, not to solve, our memory issues. But I want to tell you one thing. If you want to say that you're sure something is in your memory, You imagine looking for the book on a bookshelf in a library. So when you're going through the books, and then you find the book that you're looking for, and you take it out and you stop looking. So that's why we all stand up much quicker when we know the element, because we were going through our memory and we were trying to find it. When we found it, we immediately could stand up, right? We were sure. But if you're looking for element to say that it was not present, we have to go through the whole library. We go through the whole library, we do the processing, and we start thinking, I don't recall anything of that. Then we have to answer the question, am I mindful enough to notice those details, or it was just that it wasn't there? After you answer this question, you can be sure it was not present. So actually, it takes much more time for us to say that something didn't exist or it's not present in our memory than to say that something was present. And I want you to think about it next time. You need to assure someone that in your application there are no bugs. We need more time to say, we all know that we cannot say that there are no bugs, right? We are testing to prove that there are some bugs and to fix them. But if you're asking yourself a question before you are going for a recommendation, you need time, and it's normal. We need time to process. Okay, we're going to the next level of our intelligence. We want to learn well, learn like a machine, but we also want to use what we learned. We want to use the library of items that we have in our memory for the problem solving. We don't remember things just for a reason. We remembered flowers for a reason. We remembered letters for a reason, for the reason of understand our minds better. But actually what we learned on an everyday basis, we learned new technologies, we learn new ideas, we learn how to build the good quality software, and we learn it, and we take the items from our library, and we can start solving problems. And solving problem is identification of what's in our library to come up with the best solution. So actually it's like going through our books, finding the right book, and saying, yes, this one will be necessary in this situation. So the more books are on your shelf, the better problem solver you can be. That's why never stop learning new things. Never stop getting certificates. Never stop. Sometimes people say, certificates, they're not so important, it's just for CV. No. It builds your library. It builds your library, and you never know why. Suddenly, you are just, people come to you and ask you questions because they know your knowledge helps them and creates new solutions. And for example, well-defined problems. I just took it from intelligence test, so you can read some of those. You can find a pattern with numbers. You can tell which element doesn't fit to the list of elements. These are well-defined problems. Well-defined problems are usually very easy to answer. We just go through library, take the right book, and answer. There are also complex problems that need much more books for us to read, much more elements in our brain to put together so that we can provide the answer. And answer is usually not that simple. Okay, this is the quote from the lady of the book that I based this speech on. It's about how to improve your intelligence and how to develop intelligence. And it's like, never think you're not good enough. Just start working, add to it your passion. It is not expected that you will be perfect from the start. It is expected from you to develop, to be better than you were yesterday. Okay, and the last thing, it's logic. It's like, you know, the cherry on the top of this cake of intelligence of us. It's the system of validating arguments. It's like having new information that came up based on old information that was stored in our shelf. It's like we're going through the shelf, through the books, and we're coming up with a new book based on information that we already own. Why do we want to be intelligent? We want to be better. We want to create better software. We want our tool to work at its best. So as many elements we have, as much new knowledge we can create based off all the knowledge that we are taking care of. Okay, so I will sum up it quickly. Good tester, as more experience you get, there are more elements in your library. More elements in your library, you can come up with more ideas when you're solving the problems. So, notice details that other people don't. Be aware of this brain economy. Increase the knowledge by continuous learning. It's never too late learning. Nobody knows everything. There are even new ISTQB certificates every year right now, right? So it's never over. Clear the path for information that you store. You store the information on a shelf, but if you're never getting there to pick up the book, the volume, you will probably forget it. Who remembers the letters that I showed at the beginning? Because we didn't have a need to pick up and read them again. Use your knowledge on an everyday basis. This is how experience is built. Build the network of specialists. We cannot read all the books, but we can meet on conference like this and exchange the knowledge and spread the knowledge and have this interaction with ourselves to share whatever we learned. And these are the books, and these are the profiles that I was basing on. My most favorite book that I'm reading for last maybe 30 years is Psychology Life of Zimbardo. So things about our brain, it's usually I'm basing on that book, Your Superstar Brain, and follow this Mary Britt Moser and this Janja on Facebook because they always come up with brilliant ideas. Thank you very much for your attention. I just want to remind you, my name is Joanna. This is my brain. Oh, I just had the last slide. Okay, this is information about me. This is where you can find me. And stand up if you've seen this picture today. Great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joanna. So it's time for answering the questions. First one, how many characters from the picture do you remember now, and what does it say about the human memory?
Is it a question for me?
I think so.
I think I remembered all of them because I put them together and I made sure they're not the same, they're not from the same group. And for 1 year I was the teacher in preschool, so I had those letters family, so I took one letter from different families. So what does it say about human memory? It says that when you sit down and prepare slides and choose the letters, then you remember more than when you just are presented for 5 seconds it comes to your short-term memory and never goes any farther.
Because you put them on a shelf, right? Okay, the next one. How is memorizing connected to the exploratory testing?
Not memorizing, it's the noticing. I just, last year on HUSTEF, I was telling a speech about exploratory testing and about the noticing things. Okay, so it was, you remember this exercise, when you close your eyes, you could quicker go through your, from your brain to your fingers to move them. But did you see if your nail polish is chopped or not? No, you would notice that. That would be fast, but that would lose all the details that we can notice while we're having our eyes open. So this is exploratory testing, is the moment, I don't know if you remember the rule, but it's the moment that you put aside everything, you sit down for about 90 minutes, and you concentrate only on application. You're going through application, you're preparing some data, right? You're preparing the mission, you're preparing the testing data, and you don't answer the phone. You don't answer your WhatsApp message. You concentrate 90 minutes only on application so that you don't get deceived by the smiles on upside-down faces, or that you're not closing your eyes and doing things quick, but missing all the important details. I don't know if it answers your question, but this is what I meant when I say that.
Yeah, thank you. One last more. What is your opinion about open offices related to focusing?
Yeah, I'm the lucky person. I worked in IT for 11 years and I never had to use open office, but I have my headphones that are pretty isolating me from the environment, and sometimes I use them. I think we have to take extra effort to work on our concentration when we are in the open space office.